Radio check. 5x5. Welcome back to the stream. We flew from Minneapolis to Detroit in our last stream, and now we are flying the return flight, but not on Spirit Airlines or an Airbus, because boy was trying to fly an Airbus an absolute struggle. So we're back in Flight Sim 2020 in the PMDG 737, making the return flight back to Minneapolis. And we're doing a Delta flight, real life, flight 1303 back to Minneapolis. Some good news along the road is Navigraph is going to be coming soon. I will be able to get the updated Navigraph, and we'll be able to do some flights outside of what we typically do here on the channel. And we'll go anywhere knowing that our data is up to date. And still no update on Flight Sim 2024 as far as when the sim update is coming up and what's going on there, but we'll just keep waiting it out, and until then we'll run a bunch of VATSIM. Alright, let's get inside the cabin and get ourselves going. Alright, so now we're in the cockpit, and we can get some power to the aircraft, which is going to be really difficult to see because it is dark, really dark over here. It's a nice thing about having scenery at Minneapolis is you have some lighting that helps you see inside, but this is not the case, so I kind of have to cover my eyes. Oop, there we go. Got one thing. This is the emergency lights here. As soon as we drop that guard, boom. Alright, cool. Now we're good to go. And we will set ourselves up for some lighting. The dome light is going to dim. And we'll start getting some panel lights on before we turn on the APU, so we can have them ready to go. Main panel on the pilot side. Main panel on the first officer side. And we will get the lower pedestal going as well. Alright, and a little bit of floodlight so we can see the knobs on the lower pedestal here. Alright, cool. Gear, so the thrust levers are at idle, reverse thrusters are out, they're stowed away, speed brake is up, flaps are up, and the gear lever is down. We are clear to start the APU and get some power going. We'll turn that left forward fuel pump on and get the APU started. And now we wait for that EGT just to indicate for us. EGT is coming up. And actually, we will turn this knob to APU Gen so we can verify we're getting positive charge. Positive amps to the aircraft. AGT is coming back down. It's going to settle soon. The APU Gen is now available. And we'll throw on the generators and we're good to go. Little weird malfunction there. Alright, there we go. Cool. Alright, so now we will begin our flows, and we'll start by putting the IRSs in nav mode so those can align. We will throw this knob up here to heading and status so we can get how many minutes it would take our IRSs to align, which we should get a number shortly. 8 minutes. Alright, cool. We can definitely get a pre-flight flow check done in that amount of time. Alright, so the standby flight controls and hydraulics and everything up here is all closed and guarded where we want it. Alternate flaps are in the off position. That's good. Navigation switches are all in the normal position. That's where we like them. Control panel is normal. Display source is auto, which is where we want it. The left forward fuel pump is on for the APU. The rest are off for now. Good to go. We are looking at our APU generator information, which is good. Standby power is guarded and closed. That's good. We are on our APU generator. That's good. EGT is looking normal. Like to see it. We'll go up here. Panel lights are up. The equipment cooling are in the normal position, which is good. Emergency lights are armed and guarded. We will turn on the fasten seatbelt signs for the passengers, and we'll test our flight attendant alarms to see if we get audible sound, which we do. And the ground call works as well. Cool. We're going to get our window heats on. Those are all on. Probe heats can stay off for now. All of our anti-ice can stay off as well. The hydraulic pumps, the electric pumps will stay off. The engine pumps can remain on. They're not getting power anyway because the engines are not running. We'll test the cockpit voice recorder. We get a green light. That's good. The cabin pressurization is 0. We are on the ground. We're not currently pressurizing at all, which is good. Voice recorder is auto. That's good. The temperature, we will throw the APU bleed and get the packs on so the passengers can be comfortable in the back. And the temperature is about 68 to 70 degrees, which is room temperature. That's good. Excellent. So our packs are in auto, our ISOL valve is open, our APU bleed is on where we want it. What should I write my capstone paper about? Well, what's your field of studies? Anyway, so for our flight plan, we're cruising at flight level 380, which is 38,000 feet, so we'll set that in the pressurization panel. Oops, too much, 38,000. The landing elevation at MSP is 842, so we'll set that to 850 on the panel here. Cool, everything's in the auto position as far as pressurization. We don't need manual control at all, so we're good there. We will turn our logo lights on, the nav lights are on, and all of the rest of the lights can stay off for now. Let's go to the upper pedestal here. We'll test the flaps. All the lights come on. 5 minutes for the IRSs to align, that's good. Knobs are in the nav position. Dome lights will keep on for now. All of our volume knobs up here are in a good position. The engine indicators up here are extinguished, no lights, that's good. Passenger oxygen, the crew oxygen is above 15 and the passenger oxygen is normal and guarded. Excellent. We have 3 greens for our landing gear. The flight recorder is normal and guarded. We'll test the Mach airspeed warning. Numbers 1 and 2 work. Stall warning number 1 works. And stall warning number 2 works. Alright, I don't think I've seen it work that fast. That's good. And we'll go to the middle pedestal here. I know exactly who you are, but I don't know what to write your capstone paper about, unfortunately. I'm not sure what passes in your field. I'm not a psychologist by any means. Alright, so we'll go across the autopilot panel here. We're going to take a check on Detroit's weather. The altimeter is 3044, so we're going to set that. 3044. 3044, that is set. Good. Everything else is just where we want it, and we're going to leave it for now. We'll go ahead and set our autopilot panel. We'll set the speed to the typical 160, which is usually V2 plus 10 rounded up. And once we do our performance calculations, if we have to change it, we will later on. Heading, that's a good one. Winds are 010 at 05, so we can expect to take off runway 4 right. So we'll set our heading bug to 040. Cool, and we're going to verify that no ATC is online controlling the Detroit airport, and that is correct. No one is online, so that's good. So we will just go straight to our cruise altitude of 38,000 feet. We are on a departure, but since no one's in the area and there is no controlling agency online, we'll just save ourselves from a step-up procedure and go straight to cruise. Alright, cool. And vertical speed and all that is good to go. We are looking good on the autopilot panel, and altimeters are set accordingly. We'll run across here. The main panel DU is on norm. Lower DU is also on norm. Good. We'll test the autopilot warning lights. Autopilot, auto throttle, and FMC. Those are all good. We'll go ahead and rip a test on all of the lights in the cockpit, which are all good to go. N1 set auto, speed ref auto, and fuel flow rate, that's good for me. Auto brake can stay off. We will do RTO before we're ready to take off. Flaps are up. We have 3 greens, gears down. Once we get the hydraulics running, we will double check this gauge to ensure we have hydraulic pressure. We'll test the autopilot and auto throttle warnings on this side as well. Look at that, good to go. And everything's in the normal position on this side. Alright, cool. So now let's go to the FMC and let's start getting our data here. Nav data out of date. Yep, that's because I don't have the current Navigraph, but that's okay because, like I said before, that is coming soon, so get ready for that. So we'll go to position init. Our reference airport is Kilo Delta Tango Whiskey, which is Detroit Wayne. Cool. Then we will set our position to our GPS left. Copy that. Send that over here. Cool. We'll go to route. KDTW is loaded for us, so we'll throw that in the origin. Excellent. Kilo Mike Sierra Papa is our destination, so we'll throw that there. Our flight number is Delta 1303. 1303, so we'll throw that in there. Sweet. So we'll go to our official flight plan and we will look at our route, and we are doing the MIGI 3 departure slapped transition, and then we'll go to our departure page here. So Detroit departures. Ooh, we have the MIGI 2 in here, but there is the slap transition, so let's just go ahead and we'll run it, and hopefully it doesn't, it's not too different from the current departure. I wonder if it's just a change in altitude restrictions or whatever, but we'll see. So runway 4 right, MIGI 2 slap, excellent, cool. Let's go back to the route, we'll activate that, execute, then we'll go to the next page, and we are going to be, so after we cross over slap, we're going to be doing the Q440 airway on the left side here, and then the next waypoint is Idiom, which also happens to be the transition into our arrival. So we're going to put that in here, and we're going to execute, and then we're going to select our arrival, and we are on the Muscle 3, which is right here, and we're doing the Idiom transition, so we'll select that, and we are going to expect, what is the winds at MSP? Winds are 060 at 04, so the winds seem to be favoring the 1-2s. Let me just verify that. So 1-2, let's do some math here. So 60 degrees off, yep. So we can expect the 1-2, so we'll expect 1-2 left. Cool. And we'll just do vectors to final as far as the ILS is concerned. And we'll go back to route and verify that this is good. Cool. Execute. Go to our legs page, verify there's no discontinuities, which there is not. You love to see it. Cool. Alright. Sweet, we're looking good there. Alright, now let's go to our performance and get that set to go. So init ref. Oh, performance. We're automatically on that page already, so that's good. The fuel and passengers are already set in this aircraft this time. I did not forget that, so that's good. Alright, so we have a gross weight. We'll do our ramp weight of 132.4 thousand. Because we're not planning on taking too long here. Zero fuel weight is 117.4. That matches the OFP. That's good. Reserve fuel is going to be 4.1. Sweet. Cost index, it's having us do 71. That's a really interesting cost index. We'll see how that affects the numbers throughout our phases of flight. Okay. So we're cruising at flight level 380. We'll throw that up there. Top of climb winds are 290 at 117 knots. That's really aggressive. Alright, 290 at 117. The temperature is taken care of for us. The transition altitude is good, so we will execute that. So that's the active performance profile we have. We'll go to N1 limit. We'll just verify that everything's good. It looks fine to me. And we're going to do a flaps 5 takeoff, and we have our V speeds loaded for us, which is good. And then we will just paste in the CG trim, which is 4.54. So we're looking for about 4.5. So let's set that now. So that's looking about 4.5 right there. That's good. Go back to the FMC, and now we have our takeoff data. All right, so now we have our route loaded. We have our departures, our arrivals, and anything in between. We do have an airway we're following, which is just fine. We have our performance. We have our takeoff data. So everything is good in the FMC for now. So let's continue to our throttle quadrant here. Everything is looking good as we verified before we turned on the APU. And let's do the fault detection test. Looks good. We'll do the fire detection test. Good, we have lights and bells. The extinguisher lights are looking good. Alright, cool. Let's go down to the lower panel here. And we're just going to go from top to bottom. We will tune into Detroit's CTAF frequency very shortly here. We're just going to run down, make sure our volume knobs are good. Excellent. We are active on our comm frequency as verified by this button right here. Looks good. We will test the cargo fire alarm, which is good, and the extinguishers are all working. The discharge is good. Alright, cool. Everything lights up as necessary. This is all our weather data and stuff right here. That's just fine where it is. There used to be an in-op sticker here, but it's ripped off, so I do wonder if we do get weather on this display. That's something we might have to test in flight. I'm kind of interested to see that. I also wonder if it'll give us terrain as well. We'll see. Alright, so as far as the squawk code, we're going to go to TARA, and we do have an auto ATC squawk code from VATSIM, which is 2132. So we'll set that. Two, 132. Alright, so our squawk code is set. 2132. We are in TARA. Transponder 1, altitude source is 1. That looks good right there. Everything is good to go on this panel right here. Now we're going to just real quick research the CTAF for Detroit Metro Lane. And I'm currently just looking up the CTAF frequency for Detroit. Takes a couple of clicks to get there. Alright, there we go. CTAF is 135.0. So let's get that in our comm stack here. 135.0. And again, no ATC is online, so let's get our en route CTAF on standby here, which is 122.8. Cool. So 122.8 is on standby, 135.0 is active. Excellent.
Detroit traffic, with 2673 taken runway 4 left, departure to the west, RNAV cloud. Detroit traffic.
Alright, we do have traffic in the area, so we're going to keep an eye on that as we push back and we start getting ready to go. Alright, just taking a peek here to see who it is. It looks like it was Delta 2603. Well, we'll keep an eye on that. So, let's get 4 flight loaded up here. So we have our airport diagram and our departure information. Alright. It's not going to be too difficult to get to the runway, as we are pretty much right next to it based off of our gate here. So let's go ahead and get ourselves ready for pushback. Go to the overhead panel here. Yaw damper can stay off. We're going to throw on all of the fuel pumps here. Verify we have nothing in the center tank, which we don't. That's fine. So the center tank pumps will stay off. We'll flip this now to generator 1 so we can see if we have positive charge once we get the engine started. Fasten seatbelts are still on. That's good. Hydraulic pumps, we'll turn the electric pumps on now and get ready for pushback. Cool. We're going to go ahead and turn the packs off as we are going to start our engines while we are pushing back. APU bleed can stay on. The beacon can come on as the jetway is about to be disconnected, and verify everything else is set. Alright. Looks good to me. Let's go ahead and give our GPWS before I forget a good test while we disconnect the jetway.
Wide slope.
Close the door
Pull
first.
up. Wind shear. Wind shear. Wind shear. Terrain. Terrain. Pull up. Airspeed low.
Doors closed.
Airspeed low.
And we'll get the jetway out of here, and then lastly we will test our TCAS system. And the jetway is disconnecting, that's good.
TCAS test. Pass.
And TCAS pass. Cool. Let's go again and get a standard L, and we want our nose to face to the right side because we are facing east and we want to be facing south to get to the runway. Select a tug. Cool. Oh yeah, I forgot to set the parking brake again. Alright. There will be a day I get that. Cool, parking brake's good. Let's go ahead and start our pushback as we are ready to go.
Cockpit to ground.
Go ahead. We've been cleared for pushback and start. They want the tail to our left. Roger that. Ready for pushback. Tail to the left. Release parking brake, please.
Okay, brakes released.
Brakes released.
And once again, our comm frequency just auto switched on us for some reason as soon as we started the pushback.
Brakes released. Here we go.
So we'll go back to 135.0 again. Cool. Alright, now our frequencies are back in tune. Alright, we'll push back for just a second here, give ourselves some space from the building and any vehicles that may be around us, and then we will begin our engine start. Alright, I think that's space enough. Let's go ahead and throw engine number 2, the ignition to ground, and watch for the rise in N2, which we have. That's good. And 25% N2, introducing fuel. And our oil pressure is rising, oil temp is starting to rise, that's good. Looks like our pushback is complete. Parking brake set.
Brake set.
EGT is coming up and it's normal range.
Steering pin is pulled. Watch for the salute and release from guidance on your right. Have a good flight.
Alright, engine number 2 has a good start. Cool. Let's start with engine number 1, go to ground, and we will look for the rise in N2 once again. Alright, 25% N2, introducing fuel. Alright, oil pressure is rising. Our oil temp is also rising in normal range. EGT is rising in normal range as well. No hot start, we're good there. Alright, so our engines are starting pretty good. You know what I am going to do? Forgot to do before was lower the screen brightnesses, again to help protect our night vision. And we'll do that on both sides as well. Scroll wheel likes to act up on me. Cool. Cool, and the standby attitude indicator we will dim as well. Excellent. Alright, so we have 2 good stable engine starts. That's what I like to see. So let's go ahead and run our flows again. The yaw damper is coming on. Our fuel pumps are all on. We'll go ahead and flip to engine generators. And we have a positive charge indication, so the generators are doing their jobs. That's good. Fast seatbelt signs are on. Probe heats are coming on. Let's check the outside air temperature, which is -6 Celsius. So let's go ahead and put our engine ignitions to continuous. And let's get our engine anti-ice on. They light up and they dim. That's good. Hydraulics are on. Good. Packs can now go to auto. ISOL valve to auto. And APU bleed is coming off. And APU is getting turned off. Alright, no more dual bleed. Good there. Excellent. Alright, now let's do flaps 5 for takeoff. Our hydraulic pressure is up and in the green. That's good to see. Flaps are going to transition slowly. Nice. Auto brake is RTO. And we will check our flight controls. Right aileron up, left down. Left aileron up, right down. Cool. Elevator forward. Elevator back. Rudder full right and full left. Alright, flight controls are free and correct. We'll go back to the engine page and we are just about ready to go. Let's go to the top here, turn off the dome light so we can actually see a little bit better outside. Get our taxi light on as we are ready to go. Double check there's no ATC on. I'm pretty sure no one signed on in the last 5 minutes, but we always just want to make sure. There is no traffic in the area, so we're clear there. Alright, we can just taxi right to runway 4 right and get ourselves going on this departure. Sweet. And we are going to take Juliet to Yankee 2. Alright. Detroit traffic, Delta 1303 is at the south terminal taking Juliet to runway 4 right, Yankee 2 intersection, Detroit. Brakes are released and let's get on the move. And while we're in the taxi, we will turn our flight directors on. And ever since this aircraft got updated, something's been kind of weird with setting the autopilot before takeoff, so we're just going to leave that be for now. We're going to make a right turn here, because I do believe that this is Juliet. It is not. I think I turned one taxiway early, so let's go ahead. So we actually turned on Quebec, so we'll just hop over one taxiway to the left here. And then our next right turn is Juliet, and Juliet goes straight into Yankee 2. Alright, cool. Our aircraft is configured for departure. And again, there's no traffic in the area, so we're good there. Then as we get closer to the runway, we will start getting ourselves ready for takeoff. Alright, landing lights are coming on, runway turn off lights are also coming on, our strobes are coming on, and the wing inspection ice light is coming on as well, and we are ready for takeoff. Detroit traffic, Delta 1303 is taking runway 4 right, departing via the MiGi 3 departure, Detroit. Alright, we made our announcement. We are clear on both sides, and let's line up with the runway and get ourselves going. Alright, engines up to 40. Alright, 40%. Engines are stable. Toga.
Airspeed alive.
Okay.
8 knots.
Cross check.
V1. Rotate.
Okay, slowly pull
V2.
up. Get a nice easy nose up. Get in the air.
Positive rate of climb.
Gear up. Pitch up. Alright, 1,000 feet, we'll go down to 15 degrees. And we'll go ahead and select VNAV and LNAV, and we will get our autopilot on. VNAV mode is coming on as well. 3,000 feet, we'll go to flaps 1. Our gear is up, so the auto brakes can go to off. Our gear selector can go to off as well. And flaps can go up. And just out of curiosity, I'm looking at the departures here, trying to see if there's anything different. So as far as the departure from 4 right, there is no difference between the MiGi 3 departure and the MiGi 2, which is what, you know, is loaded in the sim since I'm not up to date. But, uh-oh, what are we doing here? Oh, we forgot to arm auto throttle. That's unfortunate. So let's reset VNAV here. And our auto throttle should take off for us. See, now that I go to set the autopilot in the air, I'm forgetting some things because it's abnormal behavior. So we're slowing down, trying to get below 250 knots, below 10,000, but we'll just pretend like we never busted that speed limit. So we're level at 7,000 as by Lu, you want to be at 7,000 or below. Go ahead and quick heading sync. We are going to have to change that pretty quickly, but let's just do it. Alright, we're slowing back down, which is good. Note to self, double check auto throttle after takeoff. Alright, so now we're crossing Loo. And we'll be able to climb up to 1,000, but we want to be at or below 1,000 for, I'm going to say that's Theho. Alright, besides the auto throttle issue, everything else is looking good. What's going on? Seriously? We're climbing out of Detroit. Alright, we're above 10,000. Let's let the flight attendants know. And we'll get our landing lights off, runway turn offs are coming off as well, taxi light off, and everything else stays on for now in the climb. Is your reading going okay? Alright, so that's a fun one. Our speed in the climb is right up at the red line. I don't know if I like that. Okay, yeah, so I think because the cost index was 72, according to the OFP, our speed is insanely high for the climb. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce that a little bit. I'm going to go 320. You know what? I'm going to go less than that. I'm going to go 300 knots. And then when we get to Mach, we're going to do 0.75 in the climb. And we'll execute that. And then hopefully this aircraft will slow down, because that is insanely close to redlining. A cost index of 72 is insane, actually. Alright, so we crossed over Theho, which now we can go past 1,000, which is good. Okay, so one thing that changed for sure is in the FMC here, JAXC has a 4,000 or above restriction, altitude restriction here, but that doesn't exist in the current chart with the MiG-3, so maybe that's the one change that they made to the departure, was just removing the altitude restriction at this waypoint. Okay, we're going to double check ATC being online or not. Still nothing, which is A-okay. We'll just keep monitoring in case our boy William Polly hops on late night, as he occasionally does. And then I'm actually going to double check the cruise speed in here. So yeah, it has us at Mach 0.82. That's really close to overspeeding, so I'm going to reduce that to 0.79er. And we'll execute that for cruise. because that is assuming smooth air, but if we get one bump and we're that close to redline, that could be dangerous. We don't want to risk that, so we're going to reduce our cruise speed. We're above 18,000 feet, so we'll go to standard pressure. And we will monitor the climb. And again, cruise today is flight level 380. Alright, and after this turn we will set a heading sync. Alright, and we are above the clouds, so the wing inspection lights can actually come off now, because we're not expecting any icing on the wings. However, the total air temperature is -5 degrees Celsius, so for now I will keep the engine anti-ice on, just to prevent anything from happening to the engines, but we aren't expecting any wing icing, so we're good on that aspect. We'll do the quick heading sync now that we're level from the turn. Oop, too much. Sweet. Engine gauges are all looking good. We are cleaned up. And since we reduced our climb speed, we may be able to reach our top of climb earlier than what's indicated on the MFD here. I kind of figured that a cost index of 72 was extremely high and something was kind of fishy there, but I just kind of rolled with it to see what would happen if we did have a cost index that high, and it turns out that overspeeding the aircraft is what that does. So next time we get something that high, we're going to go with something else. Okay, now we switched over to Mach speeds, so we'll climb at Mach 0.75. yeah, those winds up here at altitude are going quite aggressively. 113 at 31.5. Those winds are still climbing. We went from 112 to 119. Alright. Now we've exceeded 120 knots. Good thing is this is giving us climb performance, which is why we're at 34,000 feet and still climbing at 1,800 feet per minute. But our ground speed is taking a hit as a result. Double checking VATSIM radar. Still no one online, so we're good there. Cool. Getting oh so close to cruise. $1,000 to go. Alright, just about 38,000 feet, flight level 380. We're just going to monitor, see if the air is smooth and not too aggressive, and if we are flying nice and smooth, we will get those seatbelt signs off. Just going to kind of look at the attitude indicator here, see if we're getting bumped around at all. Doesn't appear so. It seems pretty still, and looking outside as well, we're not noticing any visible turbulence or anything. We can't feel it in a sim like we can in real life, so we have to really use our eyes, but everything looks good. So let's go ahead and turn those fasten seatbelt signs off. We are at negative 32 degrees Celsius up here for total air temperature, so we can go ahead and get the engine anti-ice off. Those lights extinguished, that's good, and the ignition switches can go to off as well, and we are in cruise. Alright. Welcome to 38,000 feet. We're looking at about an hour or so until our arrival into Minneapolis. We do have quite a headwind, 116 knots right now as it's going, so gonna take a little bit extra time to make our way there, but sit back, relax. Seatbelt signs are off, so feel free to move about the cabin, and if you have any questions or concerns, feel free to let me know. Alright, so roughly about 30 miles from top of descent. So we're going to turn the fasten seatbelt signs on. I know typically I begin my descent when top of descent is 40 miles away to try and get 250 on the speed when we're below 10,000 feet. However, I have found every time I do this arrival, if I descend 40 nautical miles early, I meet up with an altitude restriction extremely early, and it doesn't really help the 250 knots below 10,000 anyway. So we're going to descend more about 20 nautical miles early, and we'll just have to monitor the speed on our way down and go from there. Alright. So let's go ahead and set for VNav. I'm just going to double check the arrival here. And we are going to 12 left, so we will be flying to Cozy. So Cozy is going to be our final waypoint. The last altitude restriction before Cozy is 8,000 feet. So we're going to set the altitude bug on the autopilot to 8,000. Like so. Wow, nice on the dot. Don't do that often. We're going to go to our descent page, and our descent 0.79er/320, that is fine by me. That works a-okay. So let's wait until our top of descent is 20 nautical miles away. Getting closer, getting closer. Alright, and that's about it right there. So we'll hit descend now, and we will execute, and our plane will start descending down towards 8,000, but we'll adhere to the arrival restrictions. And while we're at it, let's look at the Minneapolis Airport approach. We're going to do the ILS 12 left. ILS or localizer 12 left. There we go. Alright, cool. Alright, so the nav frequency for the ILS 12 left is 110.7. So you guys can see it. I'll go to the radio panel here, but I am going to do so on my radio panel that I have. This handy dandy thing. So 110.7. If you look at nav 1, you can see a move. 110.7 is active, and then I will also put nav 2 to 110.7 as well. Alright, that is in. Our navigation frequencies are in. Cool. Now we'll go back to the autopilot panel here, and we will set the course, which the approach course is 121. Here, and on the right side as well. Ooh, too much. Alright, 121. Alright. And for the rest of the approach, the runway landing distance available is 7,620 feet. That is plenty for us. Touchdown zone elevation is 841. Airport elevation is 842. That's good. Simultaneous approaches authorized with runway 12 right, which is fine, but we don't have any ATC or traffic in the immediate vicinity, so we will not be doing a side-by-side ILS with anyone, so that's good. Everything else is all in-op stuff, which in the sim we don't have. That's good. We have LSIF 2 lighting. Missed approach would be a climb to 1,300, and then after that, climbing left turn to 3,000 on the MSP VOR DME radial 09 or 6 to connect intersection and hold. Alright, cool. The CTAF for Minneapolis, according to VATSIM, is 126.7. So let's get that on standby in our radios. 126.7. Cool, 126.7 is on standby. Excellent. Alright, so we're giving ourselves vectors to the ILS after we complete the Muscle 3 arrival, which ends at Cozy. We will vector ourselves to the localizer, which will be just fine. I'm familiar enough with the area to know how not to hit anything. And then we're going to be at 4,000 or above by the time we get to Hamel. And then after Hamel, we can descend down to 3,000 or above to get to Washi, which is the final approach fix, and that's also our glide slope intercept. And then we will ride the glide slope all the way down. And our minimums are 1041. So let's set the minimums to 1041. And you're seeing them go up on the bottom right of the PFD underneath the attitude indicator on the right side. 1041. Cool. And then we will set our approach speed. So we'll go to init ref, the index, and we will set the approach speed. So at flaps 30, our VREF is going to be 138. So we're going to copy that. And we will put it in our flap speed thing right here. Wind correction plus 5 knots. That's not too bad. We're all right there. The altimeter at Minneapolis right now is 3052. So we're going to go ahead and preset that. So when we get below 18,000 feet, we can just switch it over. 3052 is some pretty high pressure. So it'll give us some decent performance. And it's also very cold as well. Alright, so we seem to be doing okay with altitude restrictions. Yeah, this German waypoint is often what, if I descend 40 nautical miles early, we always hit flight level 220 like way before crossing over this waypoint, and it really doesn't do anything for our 250 knots before 10,000 anyway. So, ooh. This aircraft just did a pretty wild dive to get on course. Based off of that, I'm tempted to adjust the speed. Yeah, why don't we adjust the descent speed? We'll do Mach 0.75, and we'll do 280 on the knots aspect, because this is a very aggressive descent profile. Mach 0.79ers kind of fast for trying to maintain that VNAV course. Alright. So double checking. We have our ILS frequencies in, both active, which is good. We have our course set on both sides. We have our minimum set and our VREF. And we are looking good so far, and we will monitor the descent on our way down. Alright. And still no ATC online, so we will not be expecting any on our way into the Minneapolis airport. And real quick, we can just verify that the information in our FMC as far as this arrival is concerned is aligning with all of the restrictions on the actual arrival procedure. Okay, so we crossed over German. We're on our way to Muscle, which is 17,000 or above at 280 knots, which is what we're doing. That's good. go to the next page. And bakes or backs, however you say that, that is 12,000 or above and 280 knots. That is also correct. Loon, 11,000 or above, 280, correct. Woodbury is 250 knots, that's correct. 10,000 or above, also correct. Zaski, 9,000 or above, good. The 240 knots is just to help us get to the next speed restriction, which is 230 knots at Camo. And 8,000 is correct, at 8,000 when we cross over Camo. Good. Alright. So our FMC has good information, and we can expect it to follow the correct procedure on the way down. Why, thank you. You're not too bad yourself. Hello. it's me, remind me who you are again? Alright, below 18,000 feet, we're going to the altimeter setting, which is 3052. Tell me, what is everything? Say time is supposed to heal you from what? Oh my goodness. Please tell me you're not doing what I think you're doing. I don't really know the lyrics to that song, and those last two lines are the only two I know. Aw, dang, you were on a roll. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's ridiculous. Oh man. Alright, so I would say we are entering our final descent towards landing. So we'll let the flight attendants know to clean up the aisles and pick up all the trash, and we are preparing to land. 10,000 feet is coming up very shortly, so we're going to monitor the altitude and the speed and verify we don't break the rules like we did on our way out of Detroit. No, please don't. Ain't nothing but a heartbreak. Ain't nothing but a mistake. I don't remember the next part, but I want it that way. Alright, we are coming up on 10,000 feet, so the landing lights and the runway turnoff lights are coming on. We will say we're not cleared to land yet, even though we pretty much are. Wing inspection lights can come on. Probably should have turned the engine anti-ice on, but we are plus 5 degrees Celsius on the total air temperature, so we're not really expecting any icing. Oh, why thank you. I tried my very best. So we are slowing down below 250 knots, below 10,000. That's good. Can I get a textual round of applause? Thank you, thank you. Alright, zooming in on the MFD as we're getting closer to Minneapolis. Minneapolis is in sight, so we are going to be in visual conditions all the way down. A lot of woots going on in the crowd. Alright, we're making that right turn. What do we? Alright, we are basically on a very long downwind over here. And this is where we start working our way towards vectoring ourselves onto the ILS. I don't know what just happened with my scroll wheel there. Little heading sync won't hurt. Ooh, winds at 11 knots at 8,000 feet. That's pretty good. Pretty calm. Alright, so we're at 240 here. And now I think we're safe to go down to 4,000. After we cross over camo. So now we're descending once again. So 8,000 at camo, now we've crossed camo, so we're down to 4,000, which after we cross over Cozy, we're going to try and vector ourselves towards Hamel, and 4,000 or above is our glide slope intercept in this case. I'm sorry, what? Sorry. Oh goodness. I'm getting roasted. Oh man. Yeah, let's turn on airports. Very curious to see what's ahead of me here. Oh, that right there is actually the Crystal Airport. Okay, I know exactly where I am. So why don't we go ahead and go to vertical speed mode, and we will pick up the descent rate just a little bit. We're going to slow down to 210 knots, and we'll introduce some drag with the speed brakes just to get down to 210, if able. It's a lot of knots. Yeah, 210 knots. Can you tie that many in that amount of time? Hello. at 220 knots. We're gonna pass Cozy by about a mile or so, and then we will make a 90-degree turn to work our way towards that glide or that localizer intercept. Because since you want 4,000 or above at Hamel, you want to give yourself a little bit of space just to make sure the glide slope can also be intercepted. Alright, so that's about 210 knots right there. We'll go ahead and drop the slats before we turn and go down to 200 knots. Once we level at 4,000, I will go ahead and make that turn. Yeah, 90 degrees is steaming, that's for sure. Alright, we'll go ahead and make that turn. And heading select, there we go. And we will go down to 190 knots and go flaps 5. Looking at about a 210 heading, and we'll see what the winds are doing to our ground track as we go. Oh, I thank you. Steaming, huh? Oh, Christmas tree. Oh, Christmas tree, what? Not even entirely sure what's happening anymore. Buy something. Branches? Branches, yes. Alright, so the localizer is coming in. This magenta diamond is showing up, so that is the localizer. That's good. And it's indicating to our right side, which is accurate to our position. We're about 2.5 miles, so we'll go ahead and get that 30-degree intercept going. So we'll head 150. And our glide slope is now coming in as well. Well, not coming in, it has popped up, it's indicating. Well, we are on the left side of the course, so it's indicating the course is to our right side. I could overshoot it and have it on the left side if you'd like. Alright, so flaps are 5. Localizer's coming in. We'll arm approach mode since we are on the intercept vector, and now that approach mode is armed, we can engage both command A and B for the autopilot just to keep good practice. Watch that localizer come in, which it is. Always got to keep them guessing. Alright, we'll slow down to 180 knots. Oh, man. Alright, so we're stabilized at 180 knots. Flaps are 5. Our glide... Oh my goodness, if I could speak. Our glide slope is starting to come in now. So once we intercept that, the gear is going to come down. A nosedive. Not while I'm on VATSIM. Not while I'm on VATSIM. VATSIM is where the serious stuff goes down. Oh, total air temperature dropped to -5. Alright. Alright, that glide slope is coming in, so gear is going to come down. We'll wait for 3 greens. Alright, that is 3 greens, and we'll double check the overhead panel here. Yep, 3 greens up here as well. Cool. The auto brakes will go to auto brakes 2. That's fine by me. And we will arm the speed brakes.
2500.
And Minneapolis actually I'm on 122.8. Oops. Minneapolis traffic, Delta 1303 is on the 8-mile final, ILS 12 left Minneapolis. Alright. So about 8-mile final. We're still going to keep it 180 knots just to keep this efficient. Alright, we'll heading sync our final approach course. Oops. Heading indicator, heading bug really wants to run on me. Alright, we'll turn on the taxi light. We'll assume cleared to land. We made a radio call. There is no one in the immediate vicinity, so we're good there. Cool. Sorry, not happening. We're about greasers here. Minneapolis traffic, Delta 1303 is on the 5-mile final, runway 12 left, Minneapolis. Alright, down to 160. Flaps are going 15. And you know what, since we have visual, we'll start taking it by hand. First off, the auto throttle is getting disarmed. And then once that speed gets stabilized, we'll go ahead and hand fly
1000.
the aircraft. And flaps 30. Alright. We'll take it by hand from here. Oof. Getting a little bit of frame drop. That wasn't great. Put a little extra on the throttle to maintain glide slope. We'll pick up some speed. Don't want to get too slow. 2 whites, 2 reds. We're doing good. Might be working our way to getting a little too high. Well, it was supposed to have Wi-Fi, but it seems to have broken. We'll get that fixed as soon as possible. Sorry about the inconvenience. Yeah, we're getting a little high here, so we'll just kind of drop it down just a little bit.
Approaching minimums.
Trim a little bit to get that pressure off.
Minimums.
Continue.
100.
Okay, we're gonna walk off that power.
50. 30. 20. 10.
Okay, ease it down. Nice. Not too shabby. Alright, 2 in reverse. Ease that nose down. Like so. Auto brakes are taking over. Alright, that's 80 knots. Reverse thrust is coming out. We'll take over manual braking here. Alright, cool. And we'll exit to the right side here. We will turn our auto brakes off. And speed brakes can get reduced. And we are coming off the runway. We'll go ahead and start our APU as we are clearing the runway here. Cool. Alright, and today we're going to gate Delta 3. Alright, we'll go ahead and clean the airplane up, get all the flaps up. Landing lights are all coming off, runway turn-off lights are also coming off, our strobes can come off, wing inspection off, yaw damper off, probe heats off. Cool. We're going to gate Delta 3, and we're taxiing at 24 knots. We might want to slow it down just a little bit, not trying to be southwest. Neat. Alright, so the flaps are cleaned up, auto brake is off, we're doing good. See if the APU is good. Yep, APU generator is available for when we park at the gate. Which our gate is right over here somewhere. We're looking for Delta 3. That is that long gate over there. I believe, or no. We might actually be going here. Yeah, I think we're going here. I might have almost went one too far. So let's go ahead and take the taxi light off so we don't blind the ground crew. Yeah, okay, Delta 3 is actually this gate right here. Alright, so let's go outside and make sure we park decently. And the 737 looks like it's all the way up to the front. At least I hope I'm going to the correct line right here. Alright, there we go. We are parked at Delta 3. We're just going to ignore the catering truck that was in our way because that shouldn't have been there in the first place. Sim error. Alright, parking brake's going to be set. APU gen is coming on. Fasten seatbelt signs are off because we are not moving anymore. Cut off the fuel to the engines. We are below 20% N1, so the beacon can come off. Yaw damper is off. We'll go ahead and turn our fuel pumps off except for the left forward. APU generator, we are getting a positive charge. Excuse me, good to go. Window heats can all come off. Anti-ice is off. We'll turn off the electric hydraulic pumps. Those are good. The packs are all on auto, and the APU bleed can come on. And we'll get a comfortable temperature for the cabin as passengers are deboarding. And ISOL valve can go open as well, and the lights look set. And we'll just verify everything's good by double checking inside the cabin. Our thrust levers are idle. Everything's good. Alright. Oh, might help if we get the, not maintenance. We'll get the chock set. And then the jetway will come in, and then as soon as that jetway is attached, we will open the door and we can deboard the aircraft. Why, thank you. I appreciate that. I do my very best. Aw. Alright. Get that door open. Alright. There it is. And we'll go to the outside here, and I actually did get the wrong gate. Oh well, that's fine. The gate was open, and that's where we went. Oops. Alright. This is a weird corner of the airport anyway, it's hard to read. Alright, well there you have it. We are at the Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport. We made the return flight from Detroit. Definitely a lot better than trying to fly the Airbus like we did last stream. Me flying Airbus, no bueno. Not a good mix. But everything was good except for forgetting to turn on the auto throttle after takeoff. Our arrival was really good. We watched speeds well. We watched altitude restrictions, and then we vectored ourselves to the ILS. Had a nice smooth approach. Landing was smooth. A little bit past the touchdown zone markers, but we were well within our legal limits to touchdown. Everything was good there. And yeah. So that's going to complete it for this flight. As I said at the beginning of the stream, up-to-date Navigraph is coming very shortly. Again, I don't know exactly when, but it's coming shortly. So we will be able to expand our VATSIM range and where we can fly and all that good stuff. And then still awaiting sim update information from Flight Sim 2024. I may hop in some free flight here or there as we're waiting for that update, but until then, definitely not doing career mode, that's for sure. But I'd like to thank all of you who have joined or may be watching this in the future. Thank you, Ellie, for your encouragement and your communications as we're going through this. My next stream is probably going to be tomorrow night. I think we're just going to run another VATSIM flight in the 737, something we're familiar with, and might be a little bit longer in nature, longer than an hour and a half or so, but stay tuned, and thank you guys for everything. Leave a comment if you have any suggestions for future flights or videos. Yeah, take care, have a good night, and no more Backstreet Boys. Alright, you guys take care. See ya!